And we are live. Hello and welcome to this week's Bisq Growth Call. As every week, this is where we discuss how to grow liquidity, how to grow Bisq in number of users, and how to grow decentralized exchanges, of which Bisq at the moment continues to be one of the few options available. This week, there's two main things we want to talk about. The first one is the upcoming market kickstart day on September 20th. We are very, very keen on getting as many people as possible to join that. And of course, it helps a lot in planning if you go to the GitHub issue, which we'll post a link to, and click the thumbs up so we know how many people are willing to participate. The idea is simple. This one day in September 20th, when we're going to try and get as many offers placed live on the order book on Bisq at the same time. Why? Well, because in markets, and especially in decentralized markets, there's always a big coordination problem. You have to get the buyers and the sellers to come to the same place at the same time. Otherwise, they're just waiting around forever. And it makes sense since medieval times to have a fair or a market day when everyone gets together and does it at the same time. And that's what this Kickstart Day is about. We've seen many markets which have had some interest, some offers placed, but these offers weren't taken, or we had buyers coming on one day and then no buyers and sellers coming to sell. So it's so we really like the idea of getting everyone together for 24 hours. All you have to do to participate is go to download Bisq, install Bisq, and place some live offers to buy or sell Bitcoin or any other of the currencies available on September 20th. That's it. And let me just share my screen for a second so that you can see the GitHub issue where this is discussed. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, works for me.
Perfect. Right, so September market kickstart date on September 20th. We want to get as many people as possible to place offers on the Bisq offer book so that we can see interest. And the idea is to reach the maximum number of offers published during one day. Normally now we're between 150 and 200 offers. We want to try and reach 300. Of course, depending on participation, this is easy or not. And we expect volume to go higher if this happens. At the moment, 20 people have clicked thumbs up. We think we can do a lot better than that by September 20th, but even if it's just 20 people placing a couple of offers each, we should see a lot more volume, a lot more activity. And of course, it'd be really nice to see participants from new countries like China, Mexico, India, South Africa, Russia, where we've had a bit of activity, but not much. And the second thing we want to talk about is the DAO and how that affects, let me stop sharing my screen. Hello. And yeah, and this thing we're talking about earlier is that we've seen some big news this week with Shapeshift giving into KYC and introducing a membership model. I love Shapeshift. It was a great model, and they thought they had the necessary business model without accepting any fiat to allow them to not come under US regulations for KYC, AML, and basically financial surveillance. Obviously, this week we've learned that that's not true anymore. We don't know all the details because there must be some kind of gag order or something. So Eric Voorhees from Shapeshift has mentioned that everything he says is being very closely watched, and he has to be careful with what he says. But we've seen this before. In almost every Bitcoin exchange, we've seen the authorities, even if they're not in the same country, even if it's arguably not under the area of regulation, they come around and they say, no, you have to apply KYC, you have to identify your clients, and you have to report any suspicious activity, or just share all your data, all your clients or users' data. And this is why Bisq is so special. Bisq is a DAO, it's not a company, and you will see before the end of the year the full DAO released, at least in beta, which means that nobody owns the project, which means that, and of course it's free and open source software, so the code of Bisq can be copied, changed, modified. You can do anything you want with it. And of course, it's fully decentralized in two key aspects. The first one, the exchange never touches your funds. That is, there is no such thing as an exchange. The exchange is decentralized. There's only the Bisq software, the Bisq client, which allows you to come into contact with other buyers and sellers. And so your funds are never under the control of Bisq. Number one, there is no Bisq. There's just the software and the open source project. And number two, your data is only ever shared with your counterparties. So obviously, and only in so much as is needed to complete the trade. So obviously, if you're trading using your bank account, well, you're going to need and you're buying, you're going to need the seller's bank account so that you can complete the payment. But if you're trading with altcoins, if you're doing Bitcoin for Monero or Bitcoin for Ether, all you ever need to give is the correct cryptocurrency address. So you can do so in a very private manner. And most importantly, there is no Bisq server accumulating all this data. So there will be no data mining there's no central honeypot where all the names, addresses, bank accounts of all the users are kept. So so Bisq can not only not leak your data, even if it wanted to, it doesn't have access to it. So it's not a case of don't do evil, it's a case of can't do evil. And we believe this is the best way to ensure that Bisq's mission can't be corrupted by external influences, be they investors or governments or authorities or any kind, or even hackers and third parties. I've thought for a long time that the things that Bitcoin needs the most at the moment, and I've thought this for several years, are decentralized exchanges. And thanks to Bisq, we're getting there, but still a long way to go. And the second thing is obviously scalability, and that seems to be on its way with Lightning Network. But again, there's still a lot of work to do. The part that concerns us, decentralized exchanges, it shouldn't need repeating, but I'm going to say it all again because anyone who's lived through Mt. Gox or through any of the hundreds of Bitcoin exchanges that have been hacked, have done an exit scan, have been hacked or have been shut down by regulators, or even just being scared into shutting down by laws that weren't clear enough. Anyone who's seen all that knows that Bitcoin really needs an exchange that cannot be shut down, that cannot be censored, that can work all over the world, and that allows people to trade without relying on a trusted third party way to deposit. Non-custodial exchanges, decentralized exchanges, peer-to-peer exchanges are all necessary. And Bisq has managed to do this. It's working. It's been working for 2 years. Volumes keep on growing. Number of users keep on growing. The one thing that seems to be missing to make it as useful and as competitive as centralized exchanges is liquidity and volume, of course, which takes us back to the problem of coordination. You need to go. You need to get everyone to use it at the same time, and otherwise, people come along and try to sell Bitcoin for Indian rupees and see there's nobody else there, and they get bored and they don't come back another 6 months. So please participate in the September 20th Kickstart Day. Is there anything you want to talk about, Christoph?
Yeah, from my side, there's from development side nothing big. So we had our latest release 0.80. Was it last week? Yeah, I think it was the week before. And the next release, which we have planned, is the redesign. But yeah, we're still working on it. and we had a big restructuring on just from the technical side. We merged together lots of repositories into one big repository, so it's now easier again for developers to pick up, to make changes. So it's a lot of maintenance work. We're also working on implementing a support for Java 10, which also should solve a couple of issues, especially for special characters, like if you want to support the tile language. There's some issues which should be fixed with Java 9 and 10. So yeah, it's a lot of under the hood, which is going to be changed. But the redesign looks quite promising already. And yeah, I think Manfred is also quite far already with the DAO code. He did already an in-depth peer review. So, and it turned out that everything looks really, really great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the first testing session on testnet. Yeah, but yeah, I think the next release to be expected in 2 to 4 weeks time from now. Yeah, so mid-end of next month.
Is that going to include the new design work and the new?
Yeah, it should include the new design work. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Besides that, nothing special from my side. But thanks for jumping in. As you see, I have really bad lightning and internet connection. So yeah.
We're gonna keep today's call short anyway. I'm not seeing any questions in the chat, so yeah. The one other thing I want to mention is that we've seen over the past few weeks quite a bit of Bitcoin to Monero volume, and also we're seeing some Bitcoin Cash to Bitcoin volume in the past few days. We've also seen a lot of growth in pound volume. This I love because for many months we've been pushing the pound. We did the British pound GBP week, and that helped a tiny bit, but suddenly it seems that a couple, or maybe 4 or 5 users have discovered that it works really well with pounds. Bisq works really well with pounds because in the UK, you have this system called faster payments, which allows for instant bank transfers, and it's quite safe. Nothing is ever completely safe, but we haven't had any complaints yet. And it's not only very fast, but also very simple. So people are using that more now. Pound volume has blown up, and we're hoping for that to continue.
Yeah, maybe just 2 more things which came to my mind, which changed. Today, the Android app, the Android mobile notification app was released by Joachim, and we resubmitted an app version to Apple. So let's see if they accept it this time. And also, Mike and Bernard are quite far with the API, where you can do automatic trading. And they're looking for people to try out the current state. I think he posted it on Slack. And there is a special channel. It's called M. Rossell Bisq API. So if you want to try out the brand new API and give it a dry run, feel free to join them there, and they will guide you from there how to set it up and to try it out. So that, I think that would, okay, now my light is gone again. So I think if the API is released, that's also quite big, especially for altcoins trading. It should work really well.
Yeah, it should be very cool to be able to automate trades, right? That solves a bit of the coordination problem if you can just leave a bot doing your trading for you. Yeah, so I think that's going to be it from us for today. I hope to see you next week, and please go to the issue try to participate in the Kickstart Day in September 20th. Give it a thumbs up. Try to bring other people, and let's see what Bisq looks like with a much fuller offer book. Also, if you're from a country where you've had no luck trading on Bisq before, like Argentina or India, well, that's the perfect day to try it. Just get a friend, get into the band, and do your first few trades on September 20th. So let's hear from you, Christoph. I'm gonna say goodbye here.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks again for running the call today, and see you soon next week. I will be with stable internet connection again, so I will try it again myself. So
See you all next week.
see you
Goodbye.
soon. Bye.